It was actually later in my life that I got to grasp about the idea of living life in its seasons. As we grow, of course we would have to follow what we're supposed to do at a certain age. That as we turned 5 or 6, we started going to school up until we finish college, then find a job, and that's it. But now, given so much thought, I realize that it's not really as simple as that, introspectively. Well, it may be for others, but for me, it should not have been. How I wish I knew about it earlier. I might have learned to be attentive on how I dealt with every phase of life that I'm into. I might have had a livelier childhood and teenage years back then. I failed to live by the notion of seizing the moment. When I was in elementary, I would be thinking what it's like being a high school student. But at that time, I would often caught myself looking forward to be in college. And here comes college while taking up a course that's not so appealing to me. But I took it seriously because I'm in urge to graduate so I could move past the schoolgirl era of my life. However, I had this realization in college while preparing for an exam. Just a random thought. Yes, schoolworks can be tiresome, but as a student, those are the obstacles that I had to overcome. In few years' time, if I get a job, I would probably face even more serious problems. So might as well do good in school while you're there. And true enough, because when you're done with it, no more written exams, yet life continues to throw challenges at you here and there. But still, I also understood why and how it became a routine. Obviously a bad one. Whenever there is an upcoming day or just a certain time or event that I'm anxious about, I usually resort to overthinking. So it unconsciously became a coping mechanism to tell myself something like, this will be over soon, then I can go home. Things will change, I'm not gonna suffer in this forever. If I grow older, I don't have to deal with this stuff again. Just whatever that I might think of in order to escape or lessen the fear inside me. But before I know it, this already developed into an unhealthy habit. All along I thought it's helpful, since I was able to get through it and go on in life like there's no big deal. Fake it till you make it, but then later on, I gradually perceived that it was a toxic trait. When in my thinking, I just have to survive in this specific season. I'll do better in the next one. But when I get there, same old story goes. Adulthood came, and one moment in my self-talk session, I said to myself, I have to be responsible enough to pay my bills. I have to be reliable at work. I have to learn this and that of living on my own. There's a lot of pressure. I must be careful. It suddenly felt heavy that I wonder, when can I make a mistake that won't cost much of accountability? There should have been, but the thing is that it's long over. Childhood was already more than a decade ago. Like when I accidentally broke a thing and they'll just say, it's okay, she's a kid. You know, when you're innocent and guilt is not that sensible yet. It struck me to realize that I might have taken life for granted. I've been physically present but mentally absent most of the time. I'd be lying if I say that I'm doing better now, because it's not easy to unlearn things that seemed normal to me for years. Thus, I just try to be more intentional with the decisions I make and actions I take, to be more mindful of the happenings at the moment, to find value on things and people on the current season. As they say, learn from the past, hope for what's coming, yet savor the moment. Your situation now may or may not determine your future, but the set of choices you make can be a great factor. On the other hand, even though I wish to have known this matter when I was younger, where wasted times could have become wonderful memories, I still believe that it came to my perception just on time, because the ideas of it were popping up everywhere. Perhaps at that time, I was not mature enough to discern this kind of enlightenment. So now, take it from the perspective of someone in mid-20s who still struggle to figure out life. You don't have to be in a hurry. Take your time. Everything in life has its own season, and every season has its own struggles and challenges. Time won't go backwards, so make the most of it. Do not just strive to become a survivor in all the chapters of your story. You are the main character of your life. Live like it. These planters are already functional as it is. By the way, thanks to Tito P for producing these barrel-looking terracotta pots. He asked me to paint them accordingly. and that's to somehow relate them to our lives. While it is so good to be contented with what we have become, but then it would be remarkable to acknowledge what we really are molded to be. Add some colors if necessary. Maybe you'll see that you are capable of so much more, that you can be more than who you think you are. You may be thinking to pursue your dream, or you've been wanting to focus on your passion, or there's just this one thing that you've been eager to do since then, and you no longer see any possibility to it. You've heard this many times, but I'll say it again. Rejection can be a redirection and God's protection. Maybe you're just in the transitional season that is preparing you to be ready when the right time comes. When life is a painting, then you are the artist. So pick what hues look and feel good to you. Make it colorful. Do it your way. It might be messy for now, but later on you'll see that there is a purpose behind the tough, traumatic, or depressing season that you've been to. So don't lose hope. Not now is not never. If it's meant for you, it will definitely find you. In time, in the right season, with the right intention and for the right reason. Someday soon, you'll be able to reach your destination.